to blah 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 blah. Whatever. My product is designed for a very niche segment. Important to define what that segment is, because some of the decisions that you will take will be a result of that. Segmented market, we talked about it. How banks, airlines, hospitals, hotels, restaurants, and practically every business creates segments of their own customers, so that within their customer set, the unique needs of a segment of customers can be serviced in a differentiated manner. Both for reasons of business and profitability, because a segment of customers may be more profitable or business-wise, but also to meet some psychological needs of that customer segment. Right? I will not, even if I know that I am getting the same idli, I will not go stand and eat that idli on a paper plate. That's my ego will be hurt if I do that, right? I will not do it. It's some of the psychological needs also that determine how the segmentation happens. Diversified market is actually your set of services or products being used for entirely two different unrelated businesses. And Amazon.com is a great example. Right? How many of you know that Amazon.com's cloud business is a very large, I don't know how large it is now compared to the retail business or the the e-commerce business, but it's a very, very large part of their business. And they didn't intend starting that as a business. But when they created their IT infrastructure and the cloud to service their own needs, they found that there is a possibility they could create a business model out of this. And you see that the customers of these two businesses, the cloud servicing business and the e-commerce business, have nothing in common. Right? They have absolutely nothing in common. Any other examples that you can think of this diversified businesses? Any other examples? There is a service set of customers that have nothing in common with each other.
Microsoft, right? It has enterprise products and it has end user products as well. It has Xbox and it has enterprise products as well.
Okay.
In non-IT has GE, you got medical equipment, they got aircraft engines.
Very diversified product sets. Okay. Yes.
This is very technology oriented, but there is a framework called Disruptor, which is used for low latency computing. It's used in the gaming industry as well as high frequency trading.
Okay, so the same product is being used for two different industries, and the developers of these two industries, the users may be very, very different, right? Not knowing it there, back of it, it's the same technology that is driving it. But the technology creator who wants to sell to these two different diverse industries actually has to create totally different set of marketing and channel parameters for this, right? Any other thoughts?
Yes. A lot of companies are providing HRMS kind of solutions. So this can be by either manufacturing firms or companies related to other.
Right. Okay.
E-commerce firms doing B2C as well as B2B in terms of corporate gifting or powering corporate photos.
Could be, yes. Essentially what you are trying to do is you are trying to see if the organization has set of products that actually serve markets that are totally different from each other as compared to markets that are related to each other. That's the diversified market, that's the concept we're talking about. Multi-sided platforms. This is a very interesting thing that we could spend just a few minutes on this. More and more we find that the markets are multi-sided platforms. Okay? What I mean by that, and it's a great example of a traditional newspaper, right? I mean, today in the newspaper costs you maybe 3 rupees, 4 rupees, whatever it is, right? You know how much it costs to manufacture that and get it to your door? A lot more than that, right? 10 rupees, right? Then who pays for it? Advertisers, right? A classic multi-sided platform, and there are more examples of this. Any examples like this where actually one side is actually subsidizing the other side, and at the end your organization is making money, hopefully. Engineering college. Engineering college. Can you explain that a little bit?
Payment fee and the basic.
Payment
fee and the basic.
No, that probably is not the right.
Yeah, this college, I mean, the students play a part of it, the government plays a part of it, subsidizes a part of it, and hopefully it hopes that in the end, the nation is going to get some good engineers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Organization where we work with corporates where they pay for the training for the students of the colleges. We are in finishing school, so
You're a finishing school and
so the graduate parts of the corporates pay for the training.
So this is a good example, because what really you're doing is that there are two sides, okay, two distinct set of customers, and together they make it a viable business proposition. Without one or the other, this may not be viable. Can you have a newspaper with no readers trying to attract advertising revenue? Right? Can you have a finishing school which has no students trying to attract corporates to sponsor their education? This is a classic example of a Google is a good example actually. Google is a good example where search ads pay for your search. I mean, AdWords pay for your search. Right? The people who search, their needs and the needs of the advertiser who advertises through their AdSense platform, they are two different markets, but one without the other is of no use. And many times organizations tend to subsidize one because unless there is a critical mass of readers, of search engine users or whatever it is, you will not have the advertisers to go with them. And hope that once that is subsidized. Even e-commerce sites, right? I mean, many of the e-commerce sites, travel sites actually lose money for every ticket they sell. But they make it up, right? By cross-selling car services, by cross-selling hotels, by getting advertisements, hopefully getting some bulk discounts at the end by the airline. After the year, if you hit this quota, then we'll give you so much more, whatever it is, right? These are all models which are multi-sided, wherein multiple sides have to perform to create value for the organization. Are you with me? Okay. Very important. Value proposition. Can somebody say what they think value proposition is? Yes.
Any product, if it satisfies some need, what need or pain that it takes out of my life is the value that it is bringing, a service or product, whatever.
For that particular customer segment. So the value proposition for a segment may be very different as compared to value proposition for the other segment. Right? So value proposition is always attached to a customer segment, unless you are a mass market product. Right? So, any examples of we talked about value proposition. I'm going to give you an exercise. I will not spend more time on that now. But some of the value propositions I have listed here. Okay. It could be that your product is very new, right? That it is a totally newness. This was never existed before. So we are trying to create a value proposition around the newness. Performance can be a value proposition, right? Customization can be a value proposition for certain businesses. Right? SAP, for example. I'm just guessing SAP, but these enterprise software products that actually allow you to customize your, as per the customer. Your tailoring shop is a good example versus, your ready-made shirts, right? Somebody who gets the job done or just, relieves your organization of that one key element of their business model. Rolls-Royce makes engines for all the planes. So plane manufacturer doesn't have to bother about engine part of it. They will just do it, right? Design can be a value proposition, right? Brand status can be a value proposition. Price can be a value proposition, and many more. So the point I'm trying to make here is: have I covered mostly, or do you think of any new other value propositions in addition to this? Any other value propositions in addition to what I have listed here that you can think of? This is not an all-inclusive, all-encompassing, exhaustive list. Okay, this is just some of those that have come to Yes.
The benefit your product or service is providing to your customer.
Yeah, that's value proposition, right? That is a value proposition. absolutely. But my question is there, I mean, I've listed a few of those. Is there anything that comes to your mind that is not covered in this for the benefit of everybody? Yes.
Getting it faster.
Getting it faster, yeah. Doing that faster. Performance was one, but time to market, time to this. Yeah.
For lifestyle stuff.
Lifestyle, brand status, lifestyle. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Bring out the social change.
Something that brings about social change. Can you expand that a little bit?
You can add value by creating a social revolution. That can be a value proposition.
Possibly, absolutely. A need for organizations or people to connect socially can be met. So emotional connects can be, yeah. Okay.
So in case of automobiles, safety, like Volvo,
Safety, right?
or you can say quality, Toyota.
Then you might want to add some of these to your list. Okay. Safety, emotional, social needs, entertainment. Okay. Yeah.
Network effect of things, because everybody else has it, like somebody said Facebook. I just want to go there because everybody else seems to be there.
Sense of belongingness
Yes.
to a larger conformity to a larger group or correction. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anything drastically different from all this? Any impressions on? See, we are going to co-create most of the content in this room. Okay. So anything you tell is going to benefit somebody else. Okay, now, optimizing of resources.
Experience, better experience.
A better user experience. Okay. Have businesses, and some of you don't have businesses. So those of you who don't have their own businesses, think of a business that you would like to start, a hypothetical business that you would like to start. Okay, and profile your customers. Okay, by type of customer. No, and segment your customer. Basically, exactly. You segment your customer. Okay, classify your customer into customer segments. Define those customer segments. Okay, and then consider what is the value proposition for that customer segment. Okay, and write it down. Now I have to tell you this. We will start using our canvas now. Okay, so to cut the time, we'll start using the canvas. And I'll tell you in a minute some basic rules or basic techniques of using this canvas. All of you have this. Here, on the right column, there is something called as customer segments. Yeah? And in the middle, there is value proposition. Right? Okay. You also have these colored post-it notes. The post-it is the most ingenious invention that happened. And we're going to use it quite a bit today. Okay? So what you should do is, you should use these post-it notes to define or write the customer segment and value propositions. If you have multiple customer segments, I suggest you do it with multiple colors. So one customer segment that you define and what that customer segment is, write on one. Second, you write on another color. And third, another. We only have 3 colors. If you have more customer segments, repeat the color. But more importantly, now after having identified those customer segments and identified the demographic characteristics of that customer segment, write the value proposition for that customer segment and use the same color that you use for defining or writing in the customer segment. Okay? So we have customer segment A, and the value proposition for customer segment A should be on the same color post-it note. Okay? And paste it, the customer segment should be pasted in the column that is there for customer segments, and the value propositions in the value propositions. Is that clear? Any questions? Use your sketch pen, use your colored sketch pens. Feel free to let your creative juices flow. This is a 10-minute exercise. Please dive deep into your product, service, customer, and think about it, because this is your business, is your case study for this exercise. Okay? You do it for your business. If you don't have your business, think of a hypothetical business that you will start. Okay? See, the point depends on your product. If your product can create that customer segmentation, because the customer segment is the group of customers that behave uniquely or together for your product or service. That is your customer segment, right? So whatever it is, think about it and write it. About advertisers as well as search users, for example, right? Both are my segments for the purpose of this canvas. Yes. Right. Right. So as I said, both, write both your users as well as your customers. Both. Now the customer is different. Now you just go, you're not segmenting. Why? The reason is, the question is, this is a very interesting question that came about and I just want to share it with the class. Here is a loan comparison portal. Is that the right way to put it? A loan comparison portal has multiple sides as customer segments, or one is the banks or financial institutions whose loans they offer, and on the other hand there are these consumers who come on the site, say I want to 10 lakh loan for this vehicle, and they do a comparison. So both these are yours, because the reason, now just go back to our thing, value proposition of your business for these two segments is different, right? So just focus on that part, where is the differentiated value proposition, and use that as two separate post-it notes.
You can start with one or two segments. It might just make it
just
easier.
take top 3 segments.
And then you could elaborate on these once you go back. And you can take these home, so that's not problem.
Yeah, there are more colored post-it notes available, just that we don't have them here. Dive into your own. Okay. So what I'd like to do is, because I want to create that connection between a customer segment and a value proposition. So although you have nice multicolored chart, I ask you to just use one color to define one segment. If you have a single segment, product. Okay. I don't know about your business, but your your segments are people who want to, for your guy who's going to make this car available. I think it will. I mean, on a very high level it will. Okay, so you are a car owner. Your company owns the cars and makes it available to people who want it or focus on. For now, you will have all the chance to iterate it. So start with something. Yes. But that customer segment, it's so important. You don't want to have a customer segment with no value proposition, right?
Because a lot of the answers you may not have, and that's where you might need to go back to those customer segments and validate the proposition and go into that iterative loop, so that, and that is the whole idea of an exercise like this, that you might not have all the answers, so you will have to go to those customer segments to validate some of the claims that you make, and if it really adds value to them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. Many times we think we know our segment, we think we know what is the value proposition that we offer to that segment, and it is possible that we may want to want to check that. If customers really value that segment, doesn't value that proposition that we are offering to them. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to ask a few of your volunteers to talk about a little bit in a few sentences about what their business is and what is their customer segments, what is the value proposition. Any volunteers? Yeah.
So Hello, what I do is we're trying to do an algorithmic trading platform for the Indian capital markets.
Okay.
The different segments that we have is institutions, retail traders, and proprietary desks. For institutions, the value that we add is execution. In terms of if you want to have big orders that you want to break down into smaller orders, so that you don't disturb the market, the pricing of the market, so algorithms like EVAP, GVAP, GVAP, POV, etc., etc. In terms of the retail trader, what we provide them is what they want is alpha generation or what is called profit making, and for them trend following strategies and stuff like that. And the third category is proprietary desks, and the kind of things that they do is again alpha generation and things like market making and stuff like that, and their risk management. That's also something that we do.
Okay, great. So you've identified for your product or service 3 distinct, categories or segments, and you have a value proposition that corresponds to that, right? Okay. Yeah.
And my brother-in-law is in the stock market, so if you are interested, I can connect you to him.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Yeah, somebody else?
This is a multi-sided platform. It's an online aggregator for ordering food. So,
very good. Excellent.
On one hand, you have restaurants who are your customers. On the other hand, you have 2 sets of customers, which is corporates, working people, and you have retail customers.
Right.
The value proposition for restaurants is going to be we get your job done, and
we get you customers.
Sorry?
What is the value
We
proposition?
get you customers, and accessibility to customers.
Right.
For corporates, it's going to be reduction in cost and convenience. For retail customers, it's again going to be newness, convenience, and price.
Convenience, very important. Yeah. You can order from any restaurant and you don't have to travel to that restaurant to. You're delivering, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Aggregating the orders and delivering.
And there are payment options, so which an ordinary restaurant cannot offer to you, which
And
the platform might offer.
the same payment option as a value proposition can be very important for even corporate, because you can give them credit, you can give them monthly invoice, right? Which is so difficult for corporate to pay everyday cash. You can put that in a process that corporates can like. Actually. So the same payment mechanism or your ability to have multiple payment mechanisms can be a value proposition. Same can be a different value proposition for different kinds of customers, different sets of customers, right? Okay. Anybody else to say?
Hospitality sector again. So what my company deals in is online booking for tables. Okay. Yeah. So what we provide for the diners or the customers is discounts absolutely free of cost. Table bookings and party bookings. And for the restaurant owners, what we give is online portal, visibility forum, which is on the internet. And secondly, increasing footfall in times like on a Monday or a Saturday, on a Monday or a Tuesday, where anywhere the business is not very good, in the hospitality sector. So what we provide is if they can market those timings as per their whims and fancies, they could generate and increase their footfall.
Right.
And database for reviews. We are creating a database of reviews that are going to be put in by the actual diners and who have actually gone to the place and dined, and not just by anybody who's not even dined in the place. So the restaurant owner gets an actual review of the system, of his own system, and the customer can compare with other reviews as well and decide upon the place where he wants to go out.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. One last one now. Yeah. I mean, we can go on and on and on. This actually is honestly, this is a full day workshop. What we're actually doing is compressing a full day workshop into 2 hours. And as I said, 80% of the value or conversation happens in the room and not from this side of the table. But today it's going to be a little different. Yeah.
So we are providing kind of high-tech solution for the cloud computing consumers. So we are building an agent-less solution for optimizing the performance as well as reducing the cost of utilization of the AWS resources, specifically targeted for Amazon customers. And our potential customers would be AWS solution providers, just like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Cognizant, Persistent, whosoever develops application for the customers and deploy them on cloud, specifically on Amazon cloud. And there would be direct companies who have already hosted their applications, like e-commerce companies, like Redbus.in sort of things, right? And the value proposition is very simple. These companies are struggling for performance management and
which companies? Which segment are you talking about? Both?
Yeah, both basically.
Okay.
The providers as well as the companies which have utilized Amazon cloud for having their infrastructure in place. And the deployment optimization is kind of very complex because there are a lot of actually, we can say, significant patterns which have been observed that can reduce the we can say data transaction as well as the network and bandwidth utilization. And the ultimate objective is to optimize the usage, reduce the cost, and do some sort of analytics so as to take some very important.
So my question would be how different it is for two different customer segments. That is what I think we could be spending a little bit more time on. So when I go and sell to Infosys or Cognizant or Persistent, how do I sell? What is my offering? And when I go to Redbus.in or Flipkart.com, whatever it is, is it any different? If it is not different, then maybe you don't want to put it as a separate customer segment. If it is different, then you need to find out what is the difference in these two.
So difference basically probably I might not have explained it properly actually. So the differentiation for the solution providers like Infosys, Wipro and so on and so on. So they are kind of full of administrators who are doing this job of
Ease of administration
and ticket management.
Okay, good. That's fine. So what I'm trying to say is that when you go and sell to Infosys, if you talk about performance, blah blah blah, it really doesn't impact them because actually it's impacting Flipkart's customer or some e-commerce customer. Whereas for them, value proposition can be you can use administrated lower cost, lower price resources, easier administration. So you can incur revenue किधर मिलता है, right? So the point here we are trying to it's a great example of sometimes fuzzy, same technology, same thing, having different value propositions for different customer segments. And actually, this is the whole point of this exercise.
And as Guy Kawasaki always says, that when you go for a sales call, just listen to the customers. The idea is that you listen to what their pain points are, and that will also give you a lot of...
One last one now. Yeah. Yeah, you can see, we can hear it. Hello. You say it. I'll transmit. I'll amplify it.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. My company is called as MoneyLeo. It's spelled with MONEY money, and LEO is for the land. MoneyLeo.com. We have 3 customer segments. One is the end user who is looking at comparing loans. These people are typically salaried and business people who are residing in major metros like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, who have a good high net worth or are earning good salaries, and they are at a stage where they want to buy a property, like when they have slogged and they earned good money, when they can put some contribution towards the flat. Not people who are out of the college and they just cannot put 20% of the property, like property price is 1 crore, so they cannot put 20 lakhs right now. Okay, so I'm looking at consumers who can put 20. That's one segment. The other segment is banks who are going to fund them. Okay, this is the second segment. And the third segment, which is a very obvious or a very small segment, that is advertisers and publishers.
How about property developers? Builders.
Yeah, property developers, in our case, they don't fall into our direct customers or a direct segment, but
intuitively we thought that would be the next.
It can be allied customer. So the value proposition for these 3 are that, okay, for the consumer it's very obvious, they get to compare, online rather than going door to door to banks and and there's no, they don't need to actually go to each bank at one point of time and give their entire portfolio again and again and again. So it's like one application form and you get like 9 comparisons, and there are 8 products, so 9 into 8, 72 combinations which you are looking at and comparing. The second is banks. Now the value proposition for the banks is that they don't get cold leads. They don't have to cold call. They are warm customers who have actually applied and who have shown an interest. So the value proposition in our cases for the banks is that they are not calling anybody, okay sir, I'm calling from XYZ, and then the phone gets shut on their face. Okay. So that's the value proposition for the banks. And advertisers, because we are into loans, so a lot of people who are looking at loan would also want to go for insurance or would like to go for a car loan, because now we घर लिया है तो चलो गाड़ी भी ले लेते हैं, because you have extra money to spare. So car loan, insurance companies, these are our advertisers, or that's a value proposition because they get to have a targeted customer, rather than having hit on like anybody. If you're a college guy, you would probably want to see student loan ads rather than car loan ads. So,
Good. Okay, excellent. I think again value proposition that we are offering to that. Okay. The good news is that even if you make a mistake while we are doing it on the paper, we have the ability to scrap that post-it note, write something new, and put it there. But many times we don't do that. We go right ahead and build our products, services, etc., only to find at the end that we are not able to articulate that value proposition and it's not validated. Go back to the previous discussion we had about iteration and validation. As Chetan rightly said, this is a great time for you, having articulated your customer segments and the value proposition, to go back to those customer segments and test whether the value propositions that you have articulated are the ones that they value at all. You may be in for surprises, which actually will make your business plan better. Okay? So we'll move on in the interest of time, but we spend a little bit more time than the 10 minutes that we have identified for this. The only reason for that is because this is a very important building block for our next set of building blocks that we are going to do. This is more like a foundation of our 29-story building, whatever it is. Okay. The next is the channels. A channel is how our target customer segment is going to get the value in what channel, in what way, what is the method, what is the medium, right? So that is the channel. That is what channel means. Channel means how we are going to deliver that to the customer. Okay?